What happens if a person that hits you is drunk or impaired while driving?
And you want to take that since you're dealing with that right now?
Yeah, sure. Well, it is illegal, as you know, to be driving under the influence. The caveat to that is you have to be under the influence to the extent that your normal faculties are impaired. So you could actually have a beer and drive home, and if it's not impairing your faculties at all, then then you're safe. I mean, we don't recommend that, but I mean, you have to be under the influence to the extent that your normal faculties are impaired, meaning your reaction time, your ability to see things, all of that, all the things that we consider that go in hand with somebody that's drunk. Okay. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be a prescription that you have. And you took it and then you got in the car and you drove and it hit you while you were driving and it impaired your abilities. In situations like that, if you are hit by somebody like that, there are ways to pursue additional damages. Your typical damages in a case would be your medical expenses, your lost wages, future medical expenses, future lost wages. You're entitled to your pain and suffering money, which means, the things you've given up, the ability to enjoy life, to enjoy social activities, things that you liked to do, things that you had to do that you now do with pain. And so those are what we consider a non-economic. There's no hard or fast number. But in addition to those typical damages, in a case where you're hit by somebody under the influence, you can pursue punitive damages. Now, punitive damages are pretty much what they say they are. Punitive meaning punishment. It is an element of damages that the court would have to permit if there's sufficient evidence to establish that you are under the influence. And if the court permits punitive damages against that driver, those damages would be decided upon by a jury. And a jury basically is told, listen, this person was impaired. They got behind the wheel of a car. They caused an injury. You have to send a message that it is not okay to get behind the wheel under these circumstances. And so we will be asking you, members of the jury, to charge punitive damages against this defendant in the amount of whatever it is. So if somebody is really, really drunk and their blood alcohol is a point, 2 to 3 times the legal limit, we're going to ask the jury to impose a lot of punitive damages because it wasn't like that person was just barely over the legal limit. This person really took a huge risk by getting behind the wheel. Punitive damages are a very dangerous thing because the insurance companies exclude that from their policies. So if you get an auto insurance policy and you're covered, let's say, just hypothetically with Geico or Progressive, there's going to be something in their auto policy that says, listen, if you drive and you're under the influence and you cause an accident, we'll pay for the damages, the typical damages that I talked about, but we're not on the hook for punitive damages. So you can't pass that buck along to your insurance company and think, well, they're just going to pay it. Those damages will stick with you in a judgment, and you're personally responsible for those. And they are not dischargeable in bankruptcy. So you can't even have these damages charged against you by a jury and then say, oh, I'll just go file bankruptcy and that'll wipe that out. Those damages will stick with you forever. And so, and obviously, we get collection attorneys involved in our cases if it comes to that. Those attorneys will go and garnish somebody's paycheck, take their IRS tax refunds. There's a lot of ways we can collect those. But going to the right attorney is crucial because there's a method to getting to the judge to ask for punitive damages. It's not an automatic thing. So you've got to have an attorney that has that kind of experience in litigation, that looks outside of the box and is not afraid to pursue that in the lawsuit and get in front of the judge and ask the judge to include punitive damages as one of the counts against the at-fault driver.